Thank you for tuning in to EskimoTV, your home for icy and chilly movie reviews. I'm your host, Jason Escamilla. Today, I'm reviewing Molly's Game, which is directed by Aaron Sorkin in his directorial debut and stars Jessica Chastain as Molly Bloom, who is an Olympic skier, and she begins getting investigated by the FBI for her involvement in hosting high-stakes poker games in Hollywood and New York. These games involve various celebrities, athletes, and unbeknownst to her, the Russian mob. This movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. However, it didn't feel that long because of the creative way the scenes are pieced together. The pacing of the film is upbeat, and we get to see a few different timelines that cut back and forth between different time periods of Molly's life. We have one timeline outlining how Molly started her poker business, and we get to see the conflict she faces leading up to her arrest. We have another timeline that is following the FBI investigation, where Molly and her lawyer, who's played fabulously by Idris Elba, are working to prove her innocence. There's only one more additional timeline that's a lot shorter, where we get to see Molly as a child. We see how she becomes the ambitious person that she is. Her father, played by Costner, really pushes her to the brink to become the best at what she does. And this is how she becomes great at skiing and an overall unstoppable force who is a very successful woman. This movie is well narrated by Molly Bloom herself, and she makes it easy for the audience to easily understand what is going on. I loved Molly's character. Jessica Chastain brings Molly Bloom to life. We see a bright woman who experiences a horrible pattern of becoming really good at something, and then it gets ripped away. This happens the first time when she has an accident while skiing, and then it happens once again with this arrest. She's really good at skiing, and then she gets hurt. She gets this really good poker business, and then it gets taken away. And I just love seeing her resiliency and her persistence. It's quite admirable. Idris Elba does a fantastic job as Molly's lawyer. There's one particular compelling speech that he delivers to FBI investigators that had me wanting to applaud. I won't spoil exactly what is said, but I just wanted to point out that there is that scene that stood out to me. And as far as flaws go, I would say while I initially liked the idea and creativity of the multiple timelines, after a while, I kept on wanting to see more of how the poker business was formed. It was undeniably the more interesting plot out of the two that we saw. I felt like the film would lose some momentum cutting back to the lawyer scenes with Molly. Also, there's one conversation near the end of the film between Molly and her father that I did not buy at all. My friend that I went to go see this with said that it made him tear up a bit, but to me, it felt like it was forced in. So some people might like the scene, but in my opinion, it didn't have enough build up to mean anything to me, and it really didn't contribute to the overall plot. It felt like someone said at the last moment, oh hey, here's a really cool idea that could get the audience emotional. Can we shove this in somewhere? And it might work for some people, but for me, it didn't work. Last kind of flaw I have to mention, and this is a minute nitpick, I do not know anything about how to play poker. And there's this one scene where Molly's explaining a poker gameplay sequence between two other characters that are apparently having this unreal, godly, crazy game because half of the people in my theater, all the people who knew how to play poker, were shouting, ooh, and oh, to some of these incredulous, crazy gameplay events. And maybe that's not a flaw, because if it got that much of a reaction from half the theater, it was probably powerful, but I guess I'm just adding that in here to say I felt out of the loop on that, and I think there will be other people that don't know how to play poker that will feel that way too. But other than that, I enjoyed this movie, and I think while the back and forth timelines helped the 2 hours go by fast, I think they still could have trimmed a little bit off of the FBI investigation timeline and cut the scene with her father to maximize the pacing of the film. I'm going to give Molly's Game a B. What do you think of Molly's Game? What was your favorite scene? Did you like the conversation Molly and her father have near the end of the film? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, like this video, subscribe to EskimoTV, and while you're at it, hit the bell button right next to it so you can get updates on the latest Icy and Chilly EskimoTV reviews.